Attention listeners! On October 29th at 5 p.m. Pacific, join WizBiz with Alex and Eric for a thrilling Halloween live stream on Twitch. We will be discussing Fiona and Cake and divining using a Ouija board and pendulum. It will be spooky fun! Don't miss out on the Halloween live stream extravaganza. Subscribe to our Twitch channel to stay updated and be part of the spine-tingling action. Visit twitch.tv/WizBizPodcast and hit that subscribe button. Be prepared for a Halloween experience like no other. We will see you there.
Time to get real! I want to see some crazy whiz-biz!
What's the magnet made out of, ding dong?
I want to see some of that whiz-biz.
This castle is in unacceptable condition! Unacceptable! Mathematical! Maybe a terrible
Bacon pancakes.
This is WizBiz with Alex and Eric, a podcast about Adventure Time and weird shit. My name is Eric.
And my name is Weird Shit. Well, Alex, sorry. I got a little lost there.
In this episode, we are discussing Adventure Time Season 2, Episode 17, Death in Bloom, and 18, Susan Strong.
Correct.
Yeah, both cool episodes, both introducing important characters and having some cool development. I'm excited about these two. I've been looking forward to these ones.
Yeah, this is the closest we've gotten so far to like the Adventure Time that we fell in love with. You know, this is the inklings of the not that the ones we've handled are like bad by any stretch, but this is much more why two middle-aged men get drunk and talk about this show.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Death in Bloom is great because it has some of the first it has some of the really cool occult stuff starting. You know, with Peppermint Butler.
This is the start of the P-Butts. But
Yeah.
Eric, more importantly,
Yeah,
how you doing?
I'm doing good. It's our first heat wave of the year. It's ridiculously early in the year for it to be over 90 degrees, and I'm a little irritated by that. But I've got my little air conditioner, Calvin Coolidge, and I plugged him in, and he's chugging away. So, I'm surviving. How about you, Alex?
I am surviving the heat wave by having a air-conditioned basement apartment and the new Zelda game. So, outside means nothing to me right now. I literally started this recording late because there was a time aspect in the game I'm playing that if I stopped playing and put the thing on sleep, I would lose the object I was going for. So I'm just gonna have to be about 5 minutes late. And then, unfortunately, I was killed by a Lizalfos and didn't even get the object.
A Lizalfos, is that like that stuff that Garfield loves?
No, that's normal.
Oh, oddly enough, my dad emailed me about Zelda games. He's like, Erica, did you ever play any Zelda games? And I was like, well, sure. I played Legend of Zelda and the second one, whatever that was called, on the
I think it was just called Zelda 2.
Really? I thought it was like Zelda 2, The Revenge of Link or something like that.
Yeah, there might be. I don't.
But that was on the original 8-bit Nintendo way back in the old days, or was that a 16-bit Nintendo? Who knows?
No, that was 8-bit Nintendo.
Yeah, with the cartridges that you had to blow in and stuff like that.
Yeah, Super Nintendo was A Link to the Past was its big Zelda entry.
So I haven't played a Zelda game in a very, very, very long time, and I was like, yeah, I played them, and then he started asking me questions about it, and I was like, Dad, I'm not the person to ask about video games. I don't know. I mean, is it Nintendo only? I don't know. Is it on the PC?
I
don't know.
It is Nintendo only. Yeah, it's proprietary Nintendo only. The new one's called Tears of the Kingdom, which is a sequel to Breath of the Wild, and Breath of the Wild was like one of the best games ever made. And this is so far doing a really good job of being a sequel to the best game ever made. Like it's some good shit. I'm not gonna say anything because the game just came out. Even 4 weeks from now, it's probably still a little early to spoil anything.
Yeah.
Other than spoiler, there are Lizalfos in the game.
Oh no. So I've been, I think we've talked about this before on the show, but like both of us sort of like go watch Adventure Time as sort of like a cozy thing that, you know, even in episodes that we're not talking about. Like I watched through seasons 8 and 9 and 10 recently, and that was kind of fun because both of the characters that we're going to be talking about today have pretty big, well, somewhat big parts. Death and Susan both show up a lot later on.
Yeah, more Susan than Death.
Mm-hmm.
Because Death is more just like a fun, you know, tertiary character.
Yeah, yeah.
And also loses his voice at one point. Well, the guy that played him died, so they stopped having that being a speaking role.
Oh, is that what happened? I mean, I know that he didn't die until 2017.
That's what I heard. I did not do any kind of research, but it was some character actor guy. Like he was on cop shows and stuff.
It was Miguel Ferrer.
Yeah, Miguel Ferrer.
Yeah, he was on Twin Peaks and RoboCop and all sorts of cool stuff. He's an awesome actor. Okay, so Death in Bloom, which starts off with Finn and Jake being the shittiest houseplant people ever. Like, I would have thought Jake would be better at that.
Well, I mean, okay. One, there's an established thing earlier wherein a really adorable plant turns into like a man-eating monster with Marceline.
Yeah, okay.
So, there's that. I don't know where it's going with that. I just thought I'd bring that up. But, no, I think they were great plant people. They're feeding it pizza. They're having fun. They have like a dance party. I mean, what more would you want being a babysitter?
I don't know. And I guess honestly, in retrospect, everything that they run into in OO seems to be pretty happy with like pizza and soda and stuff. So why not plants?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's 1-to-1. Also,
they were getting their electrolytes.
Yeah, the scale in this I find funny. That the plant dies, so the first thought is, oh, let's go to the land of the dead. So one, you're assuming that plants have a soul. Yeah. 2, you can travel as a live person to the land of the dead. And then 3, you just happen to know a guy that knows a guy. I mean, it's pretty fucking amazing.
And of course, the guy who knows a guy is my favorite, Peppermint Butler.
Yes. Peppermint Butler is one of the best, non-main cast characters. And this is where he comes into his own of just like, oh yeah, he's like literally some kind of weird spellcraft guy. But what's great is that like he's an old man ribbon candy. Like, I mean, he's like, he's gross old people candy, but he's into the occult.
And he always wears his little butler outfit. And suddenly he's like, oh yeah, I know how to go to the land of the dead. And by the way, when you're there, tell Death I said hi.
Yeah. I did just realize something though. I think he's more like a valet than a butler.
I think so too.
Yeah. I think it should be Peppermint Valet.
I agree, but it's too late. He's already been named, and I think we're just gonna have to stick with it.
Nah, I think I'm gonna invent time travel.
He's a Okay, do it.
I'm gonna go back. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to the JFK assassination. Make sure that fucker gets one more bullet, and then I'm gonna fix Peppermint Butler's name.
Oh, future Alex is the man on the grassy knoll.
Yeah. This is I'm part of the Umbrella Academy.
So one of the things that I love about this episode is the Land of the Dead is a genuinely terrifying place. Like, it's populated by skeletons. There's that super freaky like cyclops dragon skeleton thing that guards the gate.
Flamingo angel.
Yeah, and it's just like some really, really amazing and horrifying imagery, and it's but the show is still treating everything so lightheartedly that it's really kind of done in a way where it's sort of like, look at this terrifying backdrop, we're still going to do our stupid hijinks and stuff.
Well, there's also the wonderful thing of when they get introduced to it that it's like the Land of the Dead is all heavy metal themed. Like there's like this hard, aggressive heavy metal as they're falling down the chasm into getting into the land of the dead, and like
later on,
when they get into the devil goes down to Georgia musical fight between the two of them. It's all hardcore, like Swedish death metal.
I watched this in my bedroom with the air conditioner on, so I had subtitles on for the movie because the air conditioner is loud, or for the show. And when Death was playing his part, it said in the subtitles, "screaming death metal."
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
I mean, accurate, like very accurate.
Yeah. So we do learn that Jake thinks that Death's castle is pretty.
Yeah, it's made out of light. Oh, we also we skipped a very important thing. Let's not forget Chekhov's say hello. That Peabody says, when you see Death, make sure to say hello for me. Because what a fun solution.
It seems like such an innocent name drop when it happens, just sort of like, but just kind of bragging. But it ends up being really important. Primarily, the land of the dead itself, so I think I mentioned it's all populated by skeletons, and the living, when they get in there and the skeletons find out that they have flesh, like that ends up being a thing. They're like, oh, I haven't seen this stuff in centuries.
Yeah, that was fun. We need to talk about this whole skeleton thing, because this is my main kind of, ontological question. That's not the right word, but I can't think of a right word for it. Why, so that one guy shows up with a knife in his skull. He's like, cause of death, knife in skull. Does that imply that the wait time to get into the afterlife is so long that their flesh rots before they can even get an introduction to the weird flamingo angel that watches the gates? Because, if you die, you generally have flesh on you still.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Damn straight it is.
But the ontology of Adventure Time... later on, we encounter ghosts in Adventure Time, which still look like people. And I'm wondering, first of all of the skeletons, they look like humans. And we know that, at this point, we don't know that there are any humans left on Ooo, except for Finn. So, where did all of these skeletons killed with daggers and spears and stuff come from? They must be centuries old.
Yeah, but they just rolled in. The guy's getting his cause of death. It's his first day there. It's weird.
Yeah.
Or maybe, and I think I've posited this on the show before, that let's say that the land of Ooo, the Candy Kingdom, etc., is the northern hemisphere of the planet. Maybe it's on the southern hemisphere, everything's fine. There's still people and everything's totally normal, but it's just this weird fucked up, and everybody in the normal part is yeah, we don't go up north. It's like Game of Thrones. Yeah, past the wall, shit gets weird. Yeah, we've seen video of sentient bubblegum, and so we just basically just no-go zone. We're down here living our futuristic fantasy world.
I feel like that's probably valid. We do see some images later in the series. Ooo is a continent.
Yeah.
It's a big roundish continent. But also the planet has that big chunk taken out of it, but that doesn't mean that there's not another continent. Yeah, maybe there is. And also maybe the land of the dead isn't just Earth's dead, but it's aliens on other planets. Maybe those are Martians. Who knows?
Or, maybe we colonized other planets before the Great Mushroom War, and that in any of our satellite colony planets, when you die, you still go to Earth hell.
That could be.
Or Underworld. Wait. By the way, so what the fuck is the Nether Sphere then? The what's it called?
The Nightosphere?
Nightosphere, yeah. It's that's not the right word. It's something like that.
I don't know. I mean, were there tortured souls in the Nightosphere?
I thought that was the point. Remember when there's all those people waiting in line to complain, and they're...
Yeah.
I thought the whole idea was that was the line of the, the newly dead, but yet there's... I don't know, it's weird. Maybe this is one of those things where, depending on what religion you belong to, you go to, so this one's more of a Greek concept of the afterlife. It's just it's just shades, kind of hanging out in a field. And the Nightosphere is more like the Christian Hieronymus Bosch kind of afterlife.
Maybe maybe it's sort of like the Egyptian soul, where when you die, you split into multiple parts. Your soul has multiple components, and they go to different afterlives.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe,
so like your Ka goes to the Nightosphere, your Ba goes to
the Land of the Dead, or
Land
something
of the
like
Dead.
that.
Yeah, I'm down with it.
And then I guess another option is, we know that Adventure Time leans pretty heavily on Dungeons and Dragons for some of its stuff, and in the Dungeons and Dragons multiverse, there are afterlives for each of the major alignments. So there's like the lawful good afterlife, the lawful evil afterlife, the chaotic neutral afterlife. So it could be something like that too.
Oh, interesting.
A lot of the guys in the Land of the Dead looked like they had died in battle.
Yeah, and as we've established, all soldiers are evil. So Eric actually has that tattoo.
It's tramp stamped.
Yeah, tramp stamp that says all soldiers are evil. You want to try me? I bet you don't even know how to punch. Remember, that's Eric that has these opinions.
Oh, boy.
So anybody with like a USMC tattoo, just find Eric. I'll give you his address.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think all soldiers are evil.
That's not what you say off air. There is. I love that. Also, in their afterlife thing, they've got the river. Is it Lethe?
Yeah, Lethe probably.
Yeah.
I think in English we usually say Leith or Leith.
It's one of those ones I've only read before, but
yeah.
Love that as a concept, and I love P-Butt's, warning of like, don't drink and they get cut off. It's such a fun setup, but also just this skeleton's like, yes, drink the water. It's like, no, man, that evil skeleton's telling you to drink the water, so it's therefore bad.
Don't drink the water.
Yeah, it's brilliant reverse psychology.
Yeah, it works apparently. But Jake makes a lot of foolish decisions sometimes, and then. Death himself is such a fascinating weirdo. Like he has a Japanese style rock garden and like a Zen garden sort of thing that basically fills up his whole castle courtyard, except for his stage. Like I just love that Death is a musician, and he's got a really cool keytar. Did you notice the keytar?
I did see the keytar. Yes.
Yeah.
And a rad set of snow bells. Sleigh bells. God,
Sleigh bells.
I'm saying the wrong word today. Sorry. He also has the superpower that he can't be kicked by people with a dumb brain.
Yeah. I want that superpower.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd like just that T-shirt. You can't kick me. Your brain is dumb.
So another interesting thing in this episode is we see Princess Bubblegum riding a giant bird. I don't think this is the first time we've seen her on a giant bird, but I think
we've seen that before because the bird had laser eyes in an episode where they saved them from like a dungeon or something.
Right, but that was a different bird. That was like a giant goose.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and this is a giant sort of falcon hawk thing
named Morrow.
The Morrow.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool. I really liked it. Okay, and also. So Princess Bubblegum is hanging out in Veggie Village, giving a science conference to the veggie people who are just vegetables. Like they just sit there.
Yes.
They never do anything. You never see them moving on their own. And I am going to have a question when we're talking about the next episode. I have a question about some mixed messages in Adventure Time World.
Sure.
So we'll have to get to that when we go over there.
Yeah. So we have a big death metal Devil Goes Down to Georgia style contest between Finn and Death, and Jake in his amnesiac state votes for Death, saying he was much more kick-ass, which is correct. Finn just sat there screaming with a bunch of bells like a jerk.
Yeah, I thought together they did a good job. They should have gotten joint credit. And Death, honestly, he cheated. He used magic.
Why is that cheating?
He had like fireworks and a big fire show and stuff.
I don't remember the rules saying no magic.
That's true. I guess you just use whatever tools you got.
I mean, did Finn cheat because he still has flesh?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's too bad that there wasn't like that. Because I think we've already established that Finn likes to rap and he plays the flute, right?
Yes.
So it's too bad that he didn't pick that for his rap battle weapon, or for his music battle weapon.
Yeah, I think he kind of sucks at flute, though.
He is kind of a dummy.
Yeah, his brain
But
is
he's
stupid.
covered in flesh.
Yeah. That's true, which is, I mean, that's a high commodity item in the afterlife. So here's another thing to think about with this. Princess Bubblegum is a logical, science-based creature. Finn is aware of 2 different afterlives. Can we just not break her paradigm? Like I can show you, like, you're friends with Marceline. You know who her dad is. I don't, how do you not allow for
I don't know.
beyond science?
I mean, maybe she believes that it's still science. Like, it's still science stuff happening. It's just undescribable. But, like, Peanuts knows a way to get into the land of the dead by crossing your eyes and staring into a corner.
Yeah.
Do it, you fools! Oh, shit, did you hear that? I forgot to turn off my
I did hear that, Eric.
Are you going to leave that in? You're going to leave that in.
I might. Depends. So by Finn losing the contest, Death said, well, I'm going to kill you now, which, fair enough. And Finn is duty-bound to say, oh, yeah, by the way, Peppermint Bun says, what's up? And it's like, and that changes everything. He's like, oh, shit, you know him? I love that guy. Like, oh, he can have anything. Oh, fine. Gives Jake his memory back. And I'm like, man, what the fuck kind of life did Peppermint Butler have off camera?
The thing that's so great about it is I'm sure that they kind of intended it to be sort of a throwaway joke in this episode, but it ends up being pretty important to the plot in a lot of places later on. Like Peppermint Butler's occult knowledge and occult powers are pretty, they return over and over again.
And this is our first foray into it. And all he asks in return for his favor is the low price of Jake's flesh.
Yeah.
which is really fun. He's like, oh, Pepper Butler, you're so silly. He's like, no, your flesh. I want it. It's really fun. I like people getting their flesh ripped off. It's fun times.
So, okay. Another question for you for the Adventure Time world. Like, it turns out that Death does have the soul of the princess plant and is able to resurrect the princess plant.
Yeah.
The soul of the princess plant is glowing and is not like a plant skeleton. And where the hell are all the other plant souls? Death should be full. The land of the dead should be filled with plant souls if plants have souls and they go down there when they die.
I don't know. I mean, maybe there's a whole level of only plants. There's like a flora and fauna separation in the land of the dead.
I'm trying to remember. I know that we return to the land of the dead in future episodes. We will have to bring these questions up again when we get there, because maybe we do learn more about the structure of the land of the dead.
Also, her plant is called the princess plant. So maybe it's embodied with a soul because of the name princess, because that obviously carries weight in the world of Ooh.
It could be. One of my trivia things for this is originally the princess plant was going to be called the Halo Lily, which definitely it invokes a more mystical or supernatural.
Oh, I think of that video game for Xbox.
Halo Lily?
No, it's called Halo.
Right, but a lily with a halo would be like an angelic plant.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think of Halo as angelic. I think of Master Chef.
Master Chef?
Yeah. I almost said the real name, and I'm like, no, people get really annoyed when people call him Master Chef, so I got to go with it.
I would love to see a sequel to this where, or another death music battle where somebody gets to play that guitar. If I ever go to the land of the dead, I'm going to play the guitar. I'm sure I've mentioned before how I really want to get a guitar, and I think it's just going to be in preparation for my final afterlife music battle.
I can arrange it. I know a guy.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, just when you get to down there and you meet Death, tell him a tin of Altoids sent you.
A tin of Altoids?
Yeah.
Well, I have to get the guitar first. I have to start practicing before I get there.
Yeah. Tin of Altoids is that's my MC name.
Oh yeah. What's your DJ name then?
Al-Toids.
Altoids.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah. I mean, that's when I play my Middle Eastern audience. It's Altoids. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, isn't that because your beats are minty fresh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the first two
that makes
letters of my
sense.
name are A and L.
That also makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, in the world that I just made up, that made a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else about the death episode that I don't remember
well, we
the
already
title of?
talked about Death being voiced by Miguel Ferrer. And then also, the Veggie People first appeared in an episode that we both found very distasteful, The Jiggler.
Oh, were there veggie people there?
Yeah, right in the intro, we meet Stanley the Watermelon and
that's
the Veggie
right.
People, just
Yeah.
really, really briefly.
Yeah, I wonder if we could make some kind of connection that the veggie people being so stupid is because they're based on that Christian thing, the Veggie Tales.
Veggie Tales?
Yeah, do you know about that?
No.
It's like
Tell me.
a Christian cartoon of like vegetables, and like the lead character is like a cucumber. It's like huge. It's like a monster.
I've never
monster
heard
thing.
of this. Where did
Yeah.
Where did you come across this?
I mean, I heard about it for years. It's been around for a long ass time. But
Veggie Tales. Have you ever watched any of it?
no, I mean, it's like a children's show for Christians. I can't imagine something targeted less at me. I mean, unless somehow there was a NASCAR tie-in, I think that's the only way to make it less interesting for me.
NASCAR. I would watch that. NASCAR Veggie Tales, a cucumber driving a race car and talking about Jesus. That sounds pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, probably for about 35 seconds, you're right. But then, yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Because as we're on record that Eric hates all soldiers, I hate Christians, especially vegetable ones.
How do you feel about non-Christian vegetables, pagan vegetables? Are you okay with those?
I like a Jewish vegetable. I like a Buddhist vegetable. Taoist vegetables can suck a dick.
Atheist vegetables?
Kind of flavorless. You know, they're like the squashes. They're the kind of,
squashes.
but yeah, they're like the gourd family. The atheists are the gourds of the vegetables.
And here we have a complete eschatology of vegetable religions by Alex Bolin.
Yeah. Oh, wait, no, they can't because they don't believe in gourd. That's the worst thing I've ever thought of.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't want to say that out loud, but I'm gonna.
It's too late.
Yep.
You said it. You
Yep.
said it. It's part of us now.
Yeah. Thankfully, I edit. So.
Alex,
Eric,
do you have any shiny rocks?
I do.
Okay.
Oh, I
Okay.
do.
I'm ready for them.
I found a cool list of kind of out of date, weird, or just interesting words. And there are 34 of them. There's some that we know, most are weird. So I would like you to name a number between 1 and 34.
33.
That is a number between that. Somewhat of a, yeah, I mean, you know this. Donnybrook.
Okay. Huh?
Donnybrook.
Donnybrook. I mean, I've heard the word. I don't know what it means.
Oh, Donnybrook is like a fight, like a melee. We get into Donnybrook.
Oh.
I believe that why Donnie is called that in the show.
Oh. That could be.
Yeah, I don't know. That was, yeah. All right, one more or two more, or whatever you want to say.
19.
19. Bibble.
Bibble. Isn't that like a drink?
Oh, like from imbibe? No. I mean, it might be, but that's not the definition we have here.
What is the definition we have there?
Well, okay, wait. I mean, it's related. You know those people in your favorite restaurant who drink and/or eat noisily? What they are doing is referred to as bibble.
Bibble.
Yes.
It's basically like a boisterous nibble.
Yes. Yes. That
Okay.
probably is the derivation. All right, one more.
Okay. 17.
Oh, good. This is the one that I was going to bring up if I had chosen anything. Snollygaster.
Snollygaster. I do not know
Oh,
this
sorry,
word.
Snollygaster. My apologies.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know that word.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Snollygaster.
So this is a politician who does or says things for their own personal advancement instead of following their own principles.
Isn't that all of them?
Snollygaster. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to do one more just because it's the next one on the list.
Okay.
Because it literally says this is a strange one. Erinaceus.
Erinaceus.
Yeah, Erinaceus.
Gosh, I have no idea. Never heard that one either.
Me neither. It refers to something or someone who resembles a hedgehog.
Oh, okay, okay. That makes sense.
Literally, no idea. I don't know what the root is of that. I don't. Yeah. But that's all right. So there are some shiny rocks for y'all in the audience at large.
I also have a shiny rock today.
Ooh, please share.
My shiny rock is Frowsty. Frowsty.
Frowsty.
Frowsty.
Frowsty. I'm going to say it's someone who frowns often.
It is not. It is an adjective meaning stale and musty or stuffy.
Ooh, that feels like that's what it means. Now that you say it,
yeah.
Frowsty.
Yeah. Frowsty.
Yeah.
Like, look at that. Frowsty hovel.
Yeah. I like it. Frowsty.
Yeah. It sounds, it's one of those words that sounds like what it means. It's, like last episode, we talked about words that sound like the opposite of what they mean, like bucolic, which sounds like it's something horrible, but it means something really pleasant and pastoral. I think Frowsty, it gives its feeling. Its meaning comes through its sound.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, good job, Frowsty. Well done finding that shiny rock.
Thanks. I literally just came across it when I was reading earlier today, and I was like, Frowsty, what's that mean? And I looked it up. I was like, this is my shiny rock.
What the hell were you reading that used the word Frowsty?
I was reading a mystery novel that takes place in ancient Rome.
Oh yeah, you're always reading those. You've brought that up on the show before.
Yeah. I'm on like book 18 now.
Yeah.
I'm really, I mean, I guess I'm really enjoying
it. I got no problem with it. That sounds fun.
They're great. And I was gonna maybe take a break at the end of book 17, but book 17 ended on such a crazy cliffhanger that I had to go get book 18 immediately.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, he looked out and like their foot was just about to cross over the Rubicon. The end.
The end.
Speaking about crossing the Rubicon.
Yeah.
Eric, would you like to give a call to action?
Yeah, I feel like you out there in the audience, this is your call to action this time. Cross that Rubicon of talking to your friends about this podcast.
Hell yeah.
We're about to get really into the thick of it. Remember at the end of season 1 or the beginning of season 2 when we got into the Nightosphere stuff, how excited we were. We are about to get into the big stuff, the Lich and world-ending dangerous magic and Finn and Jake saving the world for realsies. Lots of interesting characters and cool things coming up. So it's a good time to convince your friends to hop on the WizBiz podcast bandwagon, which could definitely use some more passengers.
Yeah, there's ample space to sit on the WizBiz bandwagon. I mean, just please pop a squat anywhere you want. I mean, hell, sit in the middle seat. It's fine. It's easy. You're not going to get anybody next to you.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah, this is like a 3 a.m. flight that lands in like Reno.
Yeah, we've got a lot.
We're like Wichita. This is the 3 a.m. to Wichita.
All right. Season 2, episode 18. Susan Strong.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to start off by saying I love Susan Strong. She is one of my favorite supporting characters. She has an incredible story arc. And I'm curious about how much the Adventure Time team knew about Susan Strong's story arc this first time she shows up. Like, what did they really know about her? Because they don't resolve the whole Susan Strong storyline until Islands, which is, what is that, season 9? Season 8, the end of season 8.
But I think we established that, so out of order in this episode to audience at home that haven't watched this one, Susan looks like a human. She's with other people that look like human. Turns out the other people are weird fish hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
When do we confirm that she's human?
Well,
because there's that episode where she shows Finn what's under the hood. which sounds a lot grosser than it.
Right. So Susan is wearing a hat like Finn's, right? Like Finn's hat kind of looks like a little bear head. Susan's hat looks like a cat head. All of the tribe of fish people are all wearing animal head hats. And I think that there's an episode, I think Susan's next appearance, she lets Finn feel under her hat.
Oh, that's it, yeah.
But it's not revealed to us what's going on.
Well, so but the reason I bring that up is, so I don't think the writing staff, assuming that episode doesn't happen this season, which I'm pretty sure it doesn't. I think the writing staff doesn't know what Susan Strong is. Turns out this episode has good resonance. People like it. When when Finn finds out she's human by feeling her ears or looking at him or whatever, when writing that episode, I think they have a lot of her story arc planned. Okay. I think this first one is like, she might be a human. We don't have the answer yet. But once it's like established and not told to us that she's human, I think I think they've signed the contract that this is going to be a long-term, many-episode thing.
It's an interesting thing to think about because it's such a big core part of Finn's story, and it gets so intertwined with so many things later on. It's kind of brave storytelling, honestly.
Yeah.
Maybe not this first episode where they just introduce her, but like the stuff that they introduce later to kind of tie her and her whole story into like the overall arc. But in this one, so we have another really cool Easter egg in this episode. Right at the beginning, when they see all the tree stumps,
it's
the first trees. Mention. Yeah, it's the first mention of Uncle Gumbald and the taffy trees. And we see that story happen in season 10.
Oh, is it that far later? Holy shit.
Yeah. Like, it's just sort of dropped here. Like, my great-uncle Gumbald chopped down all these taffy trees. And we see what happens, and we see how important that is way, 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 way later. But also how traumatic it is for Princess Bubblegum way, 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 way later. And it's interesting because that introductory scene where they're having that really awkward conversation where Finn is sort of facing the trauma of being the last human. Like, I love how they do this. Like, Princess Bubblegum just keeps making all these gaffes, like these awkward statements reminding Finn that he's the last human, and then she's like, oh god, I have to just get out of here. I have to stop this.
Finn has a great line too, like, oh, Finn, you don't know any stories about your human side? You're like, yeah, I don't like to think about it. When I do, I get all soul-searchy and weird, which I'm like, yeah, someone that gets soul-searchy and weird very often. I'm there with you, Finn.
Yeah, we get a few more lines like that as things progress about how much psychological trauma Finn is going through. Like, they don't really dwell on it all the time, but like, there's that line. I can't remember I don't think we've had it yet. I think it's in season 3 where something horrific happens and Finn's like, well, that's going in the vault. Sort of implying that he's got like all these suppressed memories of all, because I mean, he sees so much terrifying, weird shit, He's been to the Nightosphere. He's been to the land of the dead. He's faced off against horrifying monsters and seen
into lumpy space.
Yeah, it's been a hell of a trip for him.
Well, maybe. I mean, though, this is the world he was raised in. So is it traumatic for him? Like, for instance, if you were raised in some old timey place, Kenya. Like not the city part, but like, you're like hardcore, nowhere near electricity Kenya. Mm-hmm. You drop one of those people in New York, it's going to be traumatizing as fuck. But that same age person in New York that grew up there would be like, yeah, it's just New York. So like,
true, and I guess the other way around probably.
Yeah, so Finn, if he's and the other way around, yeah. So Finn being sent, being raised in this fucked up world. I mean, his brother's a magical dog. His parents are dogs. Like, I wonder how like kind of normalized this is for him. Like, you're right. They reference a lot of the trauma that he has, but like, there's a certain amount of like, but that's just sort of, that's your life,
Yeah. I mean, that's true. And, you can see, I guess I guess it kind of depends. I think a lot of the stuff that he ends up facing is more horrifying than your average inhabitant of Ooh. Also,
That's fair.
think back to like the first episode, the I can never remember what
Slumber
it's called.
Party Panic.
Slumber Party Panic, when the zombie people start showing up, and we learn that Princess Bubblegum does everything she can to keep her people sheltered and ignorant of the dangers of the world outside, and that's why Finn and Jake are so important to
Okay. Yeah.
Candy Kingdom.
So the episode starts off with talking about the taffy trees, and they're there to do stump removal, which is what a jerk Princess Bubblegum is. Like, oh, my two heroes, go over there and remove those stumps. And they're not getting paid. I mean, presumably.
No.
Yeah.
And we learn in season 10 that those stumps have been there for 800 years.
Yeah. Well, like maybe
what
she
the
just
hell?
wanted to see Finn work with his shirt off. Maybe this is more lustiness from old PB.
I think that there might be a little bit of that lustiness from old PB in this episode for sure. That's also probably why she just continued to stumble awkwardly over her words.
Yeah. Oh, so speaking of a young PB, there's a painting in her office of her as a child, which I find difficult to imagine how that happened.
When we see flashbacks of her long, long ago, she is childish.
But didn't she create all the other candy people?
She did.
So who the hell
she was a
painted
kid
that?
when she's... I don't know.
Yeah, no, like I get that she was young at some point. It's the fact that there's a painting of her being young throws me. Like, she's god of the candy.
Yeah.
Like her uncles and all those people, she created them to be an uncle. It's not like they were alive before her. So who the fuck painted that?
I don't know. Maybe Uncle Gumbald painted it before he turned evil.
So she created Uncle Gumbald when she's a child, and then he paints a picture of her.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. Yeah, no, that's fine. All right.
Yeah. I mean, of those three first candy people she created, I think he's the only one who could do it.
Maybe her, like, weird, like, larval Leto the second brother that lives under the tree.
Nelly?
Yeah, or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe he's also, like, a really good soulful painter.
It could be. He's terrified of everything, but...
Yeah, whatever.
Maybe he's not terrified of
paint. Yeah, taint ain't scary. But anyway, yeah, so that's, the setup is PB wants to watch Finn with his shirt off, so they're getting some hatch removal, and they find a hatch. I said that all backwards, but I think the audience knew what I was trying to say.
They're doing stump removal, and they find a hatch. There's a big
No,
brown,
I think they were doing
rusty...
hatch removal. Because it was...
And they found a stump?
Yeah, because it was Charlie, and then Locke eventually gets there, and Saeed finds out as well. And then Naveen Andrews was there. Oh, and then... So that's when they find Desmond, and he's got the numbers that has to input all the time. I'm doing a Lost reference.
Okay,
Let's just keep going.
I figured that this was Lost, but as you know...
the first season there was very much surrounded by the mystery of the hatch.
The hatch.
Yeah, there's a hatch.
Was that
on this.
before the smoke monster showed
No, the
up?
smoke monster was in episode 1. Yeah.
Oh, creepy.
Yeah, beautiful first season. You should watch it.
I think I've watched most of season 1, but I don't remember.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's an ancient show.
Right, so like down in... So of course they go in the hatch. You know, it's Finn and Jake. They do everything. They're going to go have an adventure if they can.
I'd go in that hatch. I'm usually not a big
that.
adventurous guy, but like I find a mysterious hatch. I mean, I feel like I gotta go in that shit.
You know what I think I would have done also? I would have tested to see if those stumps were actually made out of toffee. Wait,
here's a question though. Toffee or taffy? I thought she was saying taffy.
Taffy.
Okay.
You're right. She was saying taffy. What's the difference?
Toffee is like a brownish kind of almost like a caramelly, like a hard caramel is toffee.
Well, so then what's taffy?
Taffy is like
I'm looking this
like
up.
saltwater taffy. You know, that like kind of bright colored, super kind of fruity. It stretches. Like if you ever had a...
Okay. I'm looking it up.
Yeah.
Difference between toffee and taffy. 7 crucial differences you need to know.
There's a full 7.
Jesus. The main differences between toffee and taffy are their textures, their ingredients, their taste, their origin, their cooking temperatures, their ease of cooking, and their nutrition value. Toffee came from England, and taffy came from America.
Yeah. There also used to be social gatherings called taffy pulls, wherein people would pull the taffy together.
Okay, let's see. Toffee is a hard texture. It's basically butter and caramelized sugar.
Yeah, it's like caramel but hard. Yeah.
Taffy is a chewy texture. Originally, it was just white or translucent, and now has all the other flavors. Making taffy is blah 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 blah.
There's a very dumb taffy joke I'm going to tell you very quickly. And this is not, I can't remember the whole setup, but you'll get the thing. Is blah 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 blah. We're at church. And last week, the pastor was drunk. So this time, the pastor's up there saying, look, we just have to apologize for last week. Some erroneous things were happening. It said there was 11 apostles. Obviously, there's 12. And, of course, there is a taffy pull at St. Peter's, not a Peter pull at St. Taffy's. Peter being a euphemism for penis.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Thanks for clarifying.
Oh, yeah, no, I gotcha. I remember that joke from about first grade.
So down the hatch. Here's the thing that I'm curious about. If those were taffy tree stumps, how did that hatch exist there for so long? Like, is the hatch made out of taffy?
No, I think the hatch predates the Candy Kingdom. I think that hatch is there. It's just that Uncle Gumbald and PB aren't great arborists and just didn't notice there was a hatch in the middle of their taffy forest.
I want to go watch the episode 10 episode again, even though I just saw it very recently, and see if you can see the hatch.
Oh, that's smart.
Because that would be amazing. I would love it if the hatch was there.
Well, 15 years from now, when we get to that episode,
we'll get there fast.
Yeah. Yeah, so they go down the hatch and meet these skittish humanoid people. And I love Jake's response to Finn's like, oh man, these people are like so terrified. And Jake's response is, yes, we could rule them like gods. Angry gods.
Angry gods.
What
eyes get all big.
Yeah, just this children's show is the first thought of seeing terrified people is, oh, let's pretend we're gods and make them fear us.
I think later on that tribe, they do get named the tribe of humans, like Hyoo, humans, but they're not human, but they are
like how the Ferengi pronounce it.
Yeah, because they do return. They do come back in a later episode, which is when we start getting more Susan.
Yeah.
Because Susan, like, whether or not she's human, she's enormous.
Yeah, she's yoked.
Like, she's got to be over 2 meters tall.
I don't like your bullshit. I know that's like 6'6", but still, I don't like you using metric. And I'm saying that because I demonstrated that I know the metric system, and I still don't like you using it.
She probably weighs like, I don't know, 80 kilograms.
Oh yeah, probably 14 stone, love. Like whatever. Yeah, fucking
maybe 14.
Use
use
American.
Use American. But I mean, she's just monstrous and super beefy, very athletic. I mean, almost superheroic in stature. And I love watching. I love this episode because it does such a good job introducing Susan, having English kind of start to come back to her. Like it's obvious that she knew English before, but the rest of the humans seem to not ever pick up very much English.
No, and they speak in like they have their own kind of like chittering sort of
language.
speech. Yeah. Which I wonder if there's any like secret messages there. I wonder if like Uber geeks of the show have like translated that.
That's a good question. I was watching the subtitles in this episode too, and it just looks like babble.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's some of, but I'm not sure. But they basically take Susan under their wing and they teach her about grass
Incrementally.
Incrementally, they teach her incrementally about various things. But there's like grass and rocks. Oh, and we see Susan crush a rock with her like just hugging it.
She's strong.
Then candy.
Yeah.
The marshmallows.
Yeah, and she gets like immediately sugar high, addicted to sugar.
Oh, like big anime eyes, sugar high.
And then there's a wonderful going against expectation, and then also going against expectation that sets up here. Is like, do you really think we should bring her to the Candy Kingdom, where everything's made out of candy? And he's like, yeah, it'll be fine. And you're like, oh God, she's going to go nuts and eat everything. And he cuts to them leaving like a sedate dinner with PB. He's like, oh, it was wonderful to meet you, Susan Strong. And everything's laid back. She's like, hey, man, no problem. And then, it just monstrous. She tries to eat Peppermint Butler. She starts eating the streets. It's like, oh, I'm going to get all my friends and eat this entire kingdom.
Yeah. And Finn's words like, oh, no, you can eat the candy, but you just can't eat any of the candy that talks.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that the sidewalk is made out of sidewalk brittle. Let me eat, digs up a piece of sidewalk and shoves it in her mouth. And Susan's whole reaction is, okay, we won't eat Peppermint Butler, but we will eat everybody else.
It's a fine solution.
Yeah, I guess.
People got to eat. The Candy Kingdom fortifies itself using candy weapons and dressed up in an adorable Halloween costume, which
is that whole thing where
a beautiful line of Stachi's a Beelzebub.
I love that Princess Bubblegum is like, we'll make them all fearsome and terrifying, and they look adorable in their cute little costumes. It's like, oh, this is the opposite of scary. Okay, so here's my question. This is the ethical dilemma. Finn says it's okay to eat the candy as long as it's not sentient, as long as it doesn't talk. Okay, now the veggie people.
Do they talk?
Is it okay to eat them? They never talk. They never move. They never do anything. You don't really see any evidence that they're sentient.
Well, if they did, in fact, invent that helmet with the wires coming out of it, like PB indicated, I would say that is evidence of sentience.
I wonder if they're kind of like the weeping angels. Like, they can't move when you're looking at them.
They're in like a fixed quantum state that anytime you look at them, that's when they get stuck. So this is like, these are like Schrodinger's vegetables.
And then it also brings up the question of, I can't remember which season this is. I think it's in 7 or 8 when BMO makes a sentient sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
And like every single ingredient has like a little happy face on it and stuff. And it's like, is that an okay sandwich to eat?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting though, because, I guess we would have to define sentience in it because they eat meat and, animals are debatably sentient.
Yeah.
So I think the line of if you can talk, you shouldn't be eaten, or if you can prove that you can invent, complex things and not talk, that's also okay.
So then sentient cheese is okay.
As long as it doesn't talk.
Okay.
Like if you just sit there smiling like a goof, like, you're basically just like a cheese emoji. Yeah, that's fine. You can eat that. Yeah.
And then tofu human. Tofuman? That stuff is okay to eat too.
Oh yeah, just soy. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, soy.
All the soybean souls just go down to the afterlife and live happily ever after.
So the question of the number of humans on Ooo is suddenly, as of this episode, like there's suddenly a question: are there more humans?
Yeah.
Is Susan Strong a human? That wasn't revealed by the end of the episode. By the end of the episode, all of the other human tribe had taken off their headpieces and revealed that they were like fish people. But Susan never took her headpiece off.
Yes. And
she has hair coming out the back of it.
That's true. I mean, it's, it indicates what's going to come later. I was just thinking, Finn's the last full human, but Marceline's half human. So we do have a half human on the planet.
Yeah, although Marceline is a half human, half demon who then got turned into a vampire.
Yeah, so I guess the question is, are vampires still human?
Ooh, that's a good one.
In the kind of, snobby, really badly written vampire stuff, there's some that are like, oh yeah, we're homo vampirus, where it's like, yeah, we're homo sapiens, but a different, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that.
I don't know. I have no answer for that either. But it is cool that this is this is where that whole thing kind of starts. I love that. I love that it's in season 2, and there's so much story development around the humans.
Yeah.
And what's left of them later
I mean, it
on.
makes sense too, because I think the premise of let's just do a Dungeons and Dragons fun show, I think that really loses steam after a couple seasons if they only did that. They needed to start integrating longer form storytelling, because what are you going to do? You know, you can't have 10 seasons of that shit.
You can't just make D&D jokes all the time. You have to start introducing stuff. And fortunately for the show and for us, the audience, the story writers, the writers on Adventure Time are very creative and do a really, really good job setting up these big, long, multi-season story arcs.
Yeah.
It's cool. I mean, it's honestly, this is why we started watching this. This is why we started talking about the show so much.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Is because of this sort of
stuff.
So
this is the start of a long trip into the world of post-apocalyptic humanity.
Yeah, pretty much the whole end of season 2 is just filled with really cool stuff. I think we've got I can't remember on the list we put together. I think we had 1 or 2 other episodes where we're like, oh, do we need to do this one? But there's we have some big names coming up, big events.
Yeah, a lot of Lich finally gets fully established on the show.
Yeah, which is very exciting. He's such an amazing villain. I think that the Adventure Time wiki describes the Lich as the primary antagonist of Adventure Time. And
that's fair.
I think that's pretty accurate.
Yep.
He threatens the multiverse for sure.
Yeah. The other one, I mean, I think maybe the other argument you could make for the biggest villain of Ooh would be Lumpy Space Princess.
Yeah. Except she's also the savior of Ooh. We have to remember.
Yeah, but
if it wasn't for Lumpy Space Princess, Jake would still be absorbed into slime.
Yeah, potato. I don't have anything else for the Susan Strong episode other than looking forward to seeing her again. It was nice to get a taste of the Adventure Time that brought us together and got us to first make love.
I have one more thing.
Please.
Susan, since this is the first time we've seen her, she is voiced by Jackie Buscarino, who also did Pacifica Northwest in Gravity Falls and Vidalia in Steven Universe. So she's in all the good cartoons.
Yeah. Pretty good last name, too.
Buscarino.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's right.
Buscarino.
I can barely read my own handwriting. It might be Buscanino.
The way. I think Busca is a fun start of any name.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that's... Yeah. Do you have any other segments? Do you have another segment for us?
No. I think
Me neither.
I think we're good. I mean, we're around about an hour right now, and after editing, we'll be at 50 whatever minutes. So yeah, we're good.
Yeah. Do you want to do the wrap up, the ending thing?
So I would like to tell the audience
find us.
That you can find us at WizBiz Podcast everywhere. We got a TikTok that I've posted twice too. We got an Instagram.
Sweet.
We got a Twitter. Twitter's the best way to find us until Blue Sky finally takes off, and then we can go there. That's all of it.
Oh, and we have WizBiz.com, WizBizPodcast.com.
Oh, yeah, WizBizPodcast.com.
Where you can subscribe to us on any platform, any podcasting platform. Go find us on, Stitcher and Spotify and Apple Podcast iTunes.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Casty
the whole
Place,
shebang.
all those things.
Another leader of the second quote.
A whole shebang. Yes, so thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
I'm sorry.
What?
We will talk at you next time?
See you's fine. I mean, that's, it's colloquial.
Okay. It's colloquial.
Yeah.
Auf Wiedersehen, meine Champions. Mwah. Mwah.